आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
I always knew that Donald Trump has no chance in hell to get the Nobel Prize. And that is because no self-respecting person ever nominates himself repeatedly, publicly, crazily for the Nobel Peace Prize. You don't do that. If you're self-respecting, you don't do that. You don't behave like that. At least 15 times or 20 times in the last few years, Donald J. Trump has been nominating Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And anyone, ladies and gentlemen, who does that will never get the Nobel Peace Prize, because it is trying to put pressure. It is trying to say that I'm the best. Now, why has Donald Trump been humiliated? Because he called for this humiliation. It is just another humiliation in a series of global humiliations that he has been facing. And ladies and gentlemen, on the other side, the Venezuelan opposition party leader Maria Corina Machado has been conferred with the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump is going around looking extremely disappointed and miffed by the fact that all his lobbying he lost to her. But it was never a race between her and Donald Trump. If a person goes around and saying that I finished 8 wars, which he didn't, I deserve the Nobel Prize, then he's putting an end outcome to his effort. And therefore, it seems all very fake, all very artificial, all very contrived. Just listen to the way that he's been speaking this soundbite. After this, I don't have to elaborate my point any further. Just listen to his tone and tonality.
I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. And I've stopped 8 wars. So that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. Nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
No, that's not the way you speak. Nobody in history has done what I've done. There's been nobody in history like me. I'm the first person since the start of human civilization to do this and to do that. Now, Trump was so very vested in the Nobel Peace Prize that he went around convincing other countries like Pakistan to nominate him. Anyone who he had any leverage over, he would force them to nominate him. And then the others also began to realize that here's the US president who's behaving like an absolute child. The easiest way to mollify him or get on his right side is by giving him a letter saying, I've nominated you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Usually self-respecting countries don't do that. But of course, why did so many people and countries nominate Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize? Because they knew it was his weak spot. It was a way to make him happy. And that's the danger with Trump. He puts himself ahead of his own country. If he actually cared for the United States of America, he would not plead with countries or plead to get the Nobel Peace Prize, because by doing so, he's bringing down the significance of the position of the President of the United States. Netanyahu therefore endorsed him for the Gaza Peace Prize. The whole government of Pakistan came and said that we want him to get the Peace Prize. Cambodia's Prime Minister submitted a nomination in August. Armenia's Prime Minister submitted a nomination. Azerbaijan's President backed his candidacy. Even the Malta Foreign Minister said that he had nominated Trump. Now, this is a pressure tactic. And the Nobel Committee had already stated that no pressure tactics work on them. They have repeatedly said that this is on the principles of the work laid down by Alfred Nobel, the person who established the Nobel Prize. And that is the point which the Nobel Committee member also made when he was asked by a reporter about Trump. Just listen to this.
This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
So the 2 words they mentioned, courage and integrity. Was he trying to say that the US president lacked courage or integrity? What will Trump do now? Will he impose tariffs on Norway? Already now the worrying sign is that Trump is beginning to get into that I'm just going to lose my temper once again phase. And he has just some time back said, now I'm going to do a trade war with China. Look here, viewers, we have a problem here. And the whole world has realized it's a problem. And the problem is called Donald J. Trump. How can you do this? How can you weave more lies to get yourself nominated? Trump went ahead saying that I brought peace between India and Pakistan. Nobody talks like that. Maybe Donald Trump now will weave a few more lies to get himself nominated for next year. In that sense, I believe that he's behaving like a truant child, ladies and gentlemen, a truant child. And while the world may believe that mollifying him for a short term is part of foreign policy, the people of America must begin to realize at some stage what they are losing with a person as president who puts himself ahead of his country. Let's debate.
Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. The Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Prize. The Nobel Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado.
Nobel.
He campaigned vehemently.
I know this, that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months. And I've stopped 8 wars. So that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. Nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
He even made world leaders endorse him.
The joint appeal to Nobel Committee to award President Trump with the Nobel Peace Prize.
I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Pakistan nominated him for Nobel Peace Prize, and I think this is the least we could do.
He wanted to join the ranks of the United States presidents like Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Obama got a prize. He didn't even know what he got. He got elected, and they gave it to Obama for doing absolutely nothing but destroying our country.
But deep down, even the commander-in-chief knew the answer.
Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado. She is receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy.
This comes despite Trump's relentless campaign for the Nobel. Even the committee was asked for its reasoning.
U.S. President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and he'd like to have it. He even said that it would be an insult to the United States if he doesn't get it. What does as the chairman of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee think of this?
In the long history of the Nobel Peace Prize, I think this committee have seen any type of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel.
The verdict is out. Now all eyes are on Donald Trump. Will he follow through with his threats?
Be a big insult to our country, I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it. But it should get it.
Indication are that Trump hasn't taken the call well. With top White House officials tweeting, the Nobel Committee proved they place politics over peace. The only question remains, can Donald Trump make peace without the prize?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us this evening Richie Greenberg. Is a political commentator, former Republican mayoral candidate. He's joining us from San Francisco. David Sofair, Trump supporter, Republican from Washington, D.C. We have Vibhuti Jha, formerly Republican candidate, has strong views against Trump now. We have joining us from California, David K. Johnston is an American investigative journalist from New York. And Victor Gao is Vice President of the Center for China and Globalization, is joining us from Singapore. Interestingly, right now, Trump, in anger maybe, has declared a huge trade war with China and gone on and short of attacked personally Xi Jinping. And in his anger, maybe whatever he's experiencing today must be strong feelings. He has also called off his meeting with Xi Jinping. He said, I will not meet him. I am angry and I'm going to double down on China. Okay, so what do we do here now? We have a situation. David, I want to start with you. Trump is very angry. He's saying, I have been insulted. And everyone who wants to please him a little bit is saying, we feel sorry for you. But what's exactly going on? Why did this become such a big deal?
Well, Donald has a long history of giving himself awards, and he believes in his own mind that he solved 8 wars, even though that's ridiculous. I mean, there was no war between Albania and Azerbaijan, as he claims, for example, to have settled. And Prime Minister Modi will tell you that Trump had no role in the last skirmish between Pakistan and India. But I wrote years ago about how Donald received multiple 5 Diamond Awards from a hospitality organization nobody had ever heard of, an award that was described as the greatest award in the world, not in the hospitality industry, but the greatest award in the world, apparently surpassing the Nobel Peace Prize. And it turned out it was given by an organization run by a mobster and Donald Trump. So he believes that he is special and that we should all recognize how special he is, even though, you know, he's done nothing that would qualify him for the Nobel Peace Prize, and if anything, would guarantee he never has a shot at getting it, even without his campaigning for it. By the way, the thing I'd watch out for is what's he going to do to Norway now? Well, maybe he'll claim that we should take the Svalbard Islands in the Arctic, just as he wants to take Greenland away from Denmark.
My God. But this is sad, isn't it? I mean, you know, he's putting himself before his country, Vibhuti. He's saying that I'm important, and if I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, America is being insulted. But
So
he's
here
also...
we have in a minute. Arnab, it's great to see you.
Yeah, okay,
Hi,
David, you want to come in, I see. Yeah. Why is he putting himself
I'd just like
before
to
his country?
greet everybody on the panel, and it's great to see you, Arnab, as always. Thank you very much for having me. And when you look at the administration and you look what they are doing for global peace, which is an ongoing thing, they have huge desks and resources that are dedicated completely to global peace. And that has been very successful. Now, if you look at where the Nobel Peace Prize is, there is not a place for conservatives in almost half a century to win a Nobel Peace Prize. So that's kind of where we are with the whole thing. So, Trump's committed to peace through strength, and that's very clear. He's doing what he does on the tin, and that's clear.
No, but
okay?
David, on a serious note.
Sure.
On a serious note, David, on a serious note. No, how can a David, there has to be some authenticity to this. Listen, how can any president of any country time his decisions to getting a Nobel? Last few days he had gone crazy. He almost abused Netanyahu, I'm told. He was in such a hurry to get this Gaza thing done. He's messed up. It has not yet started. It's not effective. He wants it to be seen like the whole thing is a success. It's not even taken off. And it is looking a little funny. But my question goes tonight to Richie. Richie, Donald Trump is humiliating the United States of America with the way he's behaving right now. It's not good.
No, I do not accept that. I do not believe that, and I think that you're totally on the wrong track with that belief. I don't think that he's humiliated. I don't think that the United States is humiliated. I think it's kind of a strange way to be accusing Trump of how he's been acting. You said petulant. You called him a petulant child earlier. I totally disagree. And if you've been paying attention to the developments in the last hour, maybe hour and a half, you would see that the winner of 2025, this year's announced Nobel Prize, Peace Prize winner, Maria Machado, she tweeted, she actually made a statement saying that her receiving the Nobel Prize is a recognition of the struggle of all Venezuelans, right? They are on the threshold of victory today. More than ever, we count on President Trump, the people of the United States and the people of Latin America and democratic nations of the world to help them achieve freedom and democracy. And she dedicates the prize of the suffering of people of Venezuela and to the President Trump for his decisive support. It just came out in the last half hour. So please don't tell me that this is an embarrassment. The winner is actually dedicating the prize to Trump.
Okay, so good for you. Even she has realized that she needs to
pander. It's not good for me. I'm just saying that's the reality of it.
Richie,
that's
the fact is, this exactly reiterates the point. You've got a petulant and angry president, and even Machado realizes she's got to pander to his oversized ego. Don't think it's genuine. She has to pander to his ego.
I don't accept that spin.
No, but why does a president demean himself like this? Barack Obama got the prize. He was useless. I should be given the prize. I'm a great man.
No. He didn't do it for the prize. If he's transcended the prize, and this is more than one person has stated that he has transcended the prize. The prize is not what's the goal for him. His goal is to achieve what is necessary to get the Peace Prize by negotiating and trying to get these different countries to talk. That's what it is. That's the prize.
Vibhuti,
and if he gets the Nobel related to that, okay, fine. But that doesn't mean he's going to stop. He's not going to stop doing his work because he didn't get the prize this year. And also, I'm not understanding why you're forgetting that earlier this year, January 31st, February 1st, that was the deadline for all the nominations to come out. Not today, not yesterday. It was 9.5 months ago or so.
But is this all that there is to governance that you get nominated to a Nobel Peace Prize
next year? He could still get the prize next year.
No, but why?
And there's no reason why he couldn't.
Why does a president have to carry out a Truth Social spam campaign painting himself as a potential winner of a Nobel Peace Prize? Is he not happy being the president of the United States? Vibhuti, is my question.
No,
he's the president of the United States of America, for God's sake. To go around and ask Pakistan and Malta to support him to get a Nobel Peace Prize, that is what I think is demeaning. I mean, Vibhuti, your take.
I don't agree with that. I
think it's very simple here. I mean, Mr. Trump, I support him wholeheartedly on many policy prescriptions that he has done for the United States. Where he loses out is in this particular instance, he has lost out the optics war, something that he loves to, take always, driven towards. My favorite statement is, smart people make dumb mistakes. And I think by demanding that I must win the prize, he made a spectacle of Nobel Peace Prize. It was not $1 million prize money that he was hankering after. But what is true is that he is a man of peace. I've gone through the list of since 1901 for all the peace winners. The description is he worked towards and he made efforts for peace. So the question is, did he make efforts towards peace or not? He did. His real bad, stupid thing, in my opinion, is that he lost the optic war by demanding it. It was really, really stupid of him. Classic definition of smart people making dumb mistakes. And that's what he has drawn the ridicule from the rest of the world. Nobel Peace Prize is a highly politicized element. I mean, you see the list of award winners. I wouldn't want to be along with some of them. Because that is the important part to understand. That's where Trump made the mistake. If I were Trump's advisor, I would have told him, hey, I'm not working towards peace to get a Nobel Peace Prize. To hell with it. And I would have said, to quote Clark Gable from Gone with the Wind, I don't give a damn. That's the important part for Trump to have played the media thing very well in this. He would have become the darling of the crowd for having denied. Instead of by claiming, as he did, he made himself a laughing stock. And that's what annoys me. And I've given suggestions to him many times. Just, Newt Gingrich had said that he's a great learner. And I had Tamil again said that I hope he learns something from Bill Clinton and Barack Obama to develop sophistry in choice of words, in saying some things from time to time.
I think that you're trying to get back on the right side. I think you're trying to I think you are also, Vibhuti, realizing that you have criticized Trump, you have no more chances in the Republican Party, and the best thing to push your political career is to say a few nice things on India's largest news network. Nothing has happened. Turkey is still buying oil from Russia. By the way, he's thanking Erdogan. He should know that Turkey is still buying oil from Russia. The Albanian Prime Minister is openly mocking Trump. German newspapers have reported that Modi had ignored several calls of Donald Trump. He's done nothing for global peace at all. I don't know why you say so. Anybody who is deserving of global peace would encourage multilateralism. Here is a person who does not believe in speaking to other nations as equals. I do not know how, as a person of Indian origin, you can say that his claim of making peace between India and Pakistan is an honest claim. So I don't know what you're saying. If you want to advertise and you want to get...
I just wanted to...
There's nothing. No. You're saying the only mistake he made was ask for it. But he's fully deserving of it. He's absolutely not deserving of it. He's a man who says, there will be so much bloodshed every second sentence. You're saying he's a person who says to Netanyahu, hey, Netanyahu, Bibi, you'll have to do what you want to do. In which case, he's basically saying, wipe out millions of people, kill them. That's what he's saying. And you say he's deserving of the Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, come on, what are you thinking about?
He made a stupid...
No, it's not stupidity.
I'm not...
If he got the Nobel Prize, he would delegitimize the Nobel Prize.
Why don't you do
none of that.
a monologue
I want to
instead
make
of
it
doing
clear.
a debate?
I have been one of his most vocal critics on his several political statements that he has made. So the question here is not that whether he deserved it or not. The question is that he really messed up the entire thing.
I'd like to bring in Victor Gao on this. Victor Gao, now he's taken on the Chinese. I think he believes there's a hidden Chinese hand behind denying him the Nobel. What are your thoughts on this? This has become such a big global deal that Trump is angry. We don't know what he'll do next with Norway.
Bro, discuss about the
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, the fact that the Nobel Peace Prize Committee has made the decision is very important. They have their own way of thinking. They have their own logic. And once the decision is made, all of us need to come to terms with that. That's number one. Number two is that decision for the Nobel Peace Prize is for the year 2025. There are other chances. And secondly, if President Trump really wants to get a peace prize, the best way is to really work wholeheartedly for peace, rather than thinking or dreaming about the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, the other point I want to emphasize is that no one should consider himself or herself having an entitlement to the Nobel Peace Prize. You work for peace without thinking about the Nobel Peace Prize. That's the best way to get a Nobel Peace Prize as a reward for your wholehearted effort for peace. Now, the second thing is that you can really not expect to get a peace prize. If you, for example, bomb Iran, if you launch an anti-mankind tariff war against more than 200 countries in the world, if you really want to bludgeon free trade, for example, all these efforts are not working for peace. They are actually blocking peace. So I hope President Trump will really become more philosophical in his dream about getting the Peace Prize. There are 3 more years for him to really work very hard for Nobel Peace Prize. And I personally hope, with his wholeheartedness and full devotion for peace, which is not a bad idea, he will get a Peace Prize in due course if the Nobel Peace Prize Committee really believes that President Trump has really made great efforts wholeheartedly for peace rather than desiring for the peace prize without or with enough efforts for peace?
No, I don't think there are enough efforts that he has taken. And now I want to turn the debate into the direction of why I believe he does not deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. Several reasons have been cited. First, I would say here, he does not believe in any international agreements. He does not believe in standing by global climate agreements. No, you're waving your head. The fact of the matter is you can have this America first approach, but you cannot have an approach of America alone and only America. He's not talking America first, Richie. He's talking about an only America line. And in today's globalized environment, that does not make him even a far-out contender for the Peace Prize. That's only one first reason of mine. Richie.
No, of course it's America first, just like within India, the leadership there is India first. That's not an unusual concept. That's just having pride.
Yeah, but we haven't pulled out from the Paris Climate Agreement. Trump has.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said, but we haven't pulled out from the Paris Climate Accord. You have. You are not part of global deals.
But the thing is, this is how Trump works. And every time that I'm here as a guest on your panel here, which actually I love being here, and thank you for having me again tonight, that this is how Trump works. You may not like his mannerisms, you may not like his language and how he speaks, but this is how he is. He was the author of The Art of the Deal. He's a businessman first. He makes deals. That is him, and you're trying to fault him for what he's doing, and that it's just not right, because you're expecting him to be the polished diplomat, the diplomacy as many of the other world leaders are, but that's not how he is. But also I wanted to just for a second deviate for a second. President Jimmy Carter, when he got the Peace Prize, was over 20 years after he left office, 20 years afterwards. And that's because he continued to work for projects of peace after he left the office. So he doesn't have just another 3.5 years or say to get this prize. He can get it at any time.
No, but again, he's putting himself before country. Don't you understand that? This all becomes not about America first. I think I'd like, I'd like a comment on that. If it is becoming the most important thing for him, you as an American should be very concerned. David, right? We should be very concerned. If the principal objective of his presidency is to get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Doing the Peace Prize or not here in America, not at all.
David, has that become one of the...
I just want to ask you a question. Do you think
David, okay, 1 minute. David Sofer and David K. Johnston, both on screen, please. You want to ask me a question? Okay, go on, David. What are you asking?
Yes, please. So with this logic that you're saying, do you think that the lady in Venezuela, Maria Machado, has done more for peace than President Trump has in the past 6 months? And can we talk about domestic peace as well? So if you look at America, we have domestic terror groups there, and we have a huge crime crisis, which was a huge election thing that Democrats wanted solved as well. So now those crime rates have gone way down as well. So you have Trump going. He is actually dedicated to world peace. So he's got whole desks about it. He's got whole people.
But you can't push your way to it.
All just dedicated to peace.
Okay,
He's
so you believe.
about peace.
Okay, so David, let me answer you. It's a long question. It's more a comment than a question. I'll give a very short answer and hand over to the other David on the program. The point is, it is unusual, and I would say it is horrible and very, very bad optics for anyone to keep insisting on being given a prize. Any prize.
It's, you make a very good point here that this campaigning for a prize is unseemly. And I'm surprised that people who support Trump don't recognize that this is a deep character flaw in Trump that reflects the emptiness inside of him. And I know Donald very well. I've known him for almost 40 years. Donald is not doing things that bring about peace. First of all, crime rates in this country are way, way, way down. For example, in the early 80s, Los Angeles had 1,000 murders a year. Now it has 300. Trump's claims that Portland is burning and Chicago is being overrun by gangs, they're absolute fabrications. He just makes it up, as he does much of his life. He makes things up.
Untrue.
And one of the other guests said something I can't let go, and that is, Donald was never a businessman. Businessmen create wealth. Every business Donald had, he had a negative investment in it because he borrowed all the money with one exception, and that was a complete fraud, the Trump University. He's a cash extractor who operates just like the mafia does. When somebody gets in debt to them, they take over a business and they loot it. And he has a long string of failed business enterprises. I'm a more successful businessman by the measure of did you make profits than Donald is. So the people are simply repeating what Trump says, even though what he says has often no relationship to reality.
No, that's untrue. I mean, here in San Francisco and other important city centers, in Chicago, in Portland, I've been there. I know what's actually happening on the ground in certain neighborhoods. It's a gross exaggeration to say that it's a fabrication, that crime is down and that Trump and his administration are fabricating the situation. That is false. And that's an insult to here in San Francisco. I'm right here in San Francisco. You're not here. I am. I see every day the humanitarian disaster that is happening right within steps of City Hall. I see it. We report it. We film it. We put it on social media.
As a son of San Francisco, I agree with you that the city government has not managed many things well, but there's no crisis going on in Chicago, Portland, or in fact, San Francisco. And crime rates compared to 30 and 40 years ago are way down. If you want to go back 100 years, they are incredibly down.
They have evolved, and it's an insult.
Furthermore, the Republican position has always been devolution. Why would the federal government step into a city problem? That's the problem for the voters of San Francisco. And I say this as a son of San Francisco, and for the local government. Having the federal government come in was, before Trump, described by Republicans as tyranny.
No, it's not. And especially if we ask for it, because the local government is tyranny and they refuse.
The local government did not ask for it. They asked them to stay away. And that's true in Chicago, Portland, Boston, Washington, D.C.
No. We will never accept that point. Here in San Francisco, we will never accept that.
Is it true, as has been reported, that Donald Trump was cold calling members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee? Because if that is true, it is very bad. There were reports that he was cold calling members of the Nobel Committee, which chooses the winners. This was reported in a Norwegian newspaper. What can be worse than that?
Well, I think we need to focus on all the good, crimes have gone way down, and world peace is spreading. Let's just focus on all the good that he's doing, and there is a huge crime crisis in the United States. We're not talking about 30-year views. Let's look at a 5-year view or even a 1-year view. Look at Washington, D.C. as a prime example, right? So crime has gone way down there since Trump's intervened. So we're a party of law and order, and we are America first, and we are peace first as well, and peace through strength.
No, my worry is that the real incentive for him, Vibhuti, was the Nobel Peace Prize. He was outcome focused on that.
About peace.
And now that that's gone, he's going to go on a rampage. Like he's done immediately with this long social media tweet on China. I mean, you don't do diplomacy like that. Especially you don't go down to almost calling the Chinese premier names like he's done. That's not going to help peace. Vibhuti. Can you unmute, Vibhuti?
It's truly unfortunate. The optics that Mr. Trump did for Nobel Peace Prize baffled me as much as I support him. You said whatever you said, but Trump, with reference to Nobel, saga, he failed himself. And I will repeat my statement, and I believe in it now. Smart people make dumb mistakes, and this was a dumb mistake by Trump by completely going online everywhere, all over the world. I deserve the award. He need not have done that. He need not have done that at all. There were enough people who were sponsoring him, nominating him, and he ought to have let the ball play. Instead, he began to, smirch everything. It was ridiculous that world leaders were sponsoring him and pandering to his narcissistic feeling that I am the prettiest of them all. The famous Snow White story, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the prettiest of them all? He fell into that trap. And
I think the Nobel Committee also played it a little bit.
He's passionate about
I think the Nobel Committee, by giving the award to Machado, said, I can't give it to Trump, I'll give it to a Trump proxy. My concern also is on another thing. The Nobel Committee is trying to support people who want to carry out regime change. Then you have to win it through an election. You cannot win it through the streets. You cannot win it through anarchy. Right? And we all know the efforts that have been there of the American deep state in Bangladesh, allegedly of the American deep state in Nepal. That's not an earnest fight for peace. Trump would be the last person who would allow anarchy on the streets of Washington to unseat him. So that's also a point of concern. I believe the Nobel Peace Prize Committee has tried to be oversmart and tried to give the award to a Trump proxy, saying we can't give it to Trump. We'll give it to a person who will then dedicate her award to Trump. In that sense, Putin is right. This whole prize has no legitimacy anymore.
Arnab, you have hit the nail on the head. This is the way the European institutional framework operates. Makes things aspirational for everybody, and then they play their own game. And I totally am with you on this matter. The American regime change operation, which was so well elucidated, said in the famous book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, the whole world knows. And America, as an American, I'm saying, this regime change operation on the streets must stop. And every country must come together. Every Republican must stop this practice. Talk about it, that regime change operation. It must stop to destabilize a legitimate government anywhere on the planet Earth. And it has been going on in Bangladesh. Imran Khan is sitting in jail. You saw what happened in Nepal. This is tragic.
Now they want to do it in Venezuela. And who's doing it? No, who is doing it? Let me ask you a question. With those, you see, Richie, listen, I'll explain this to you. Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. My question to you, from an Indian to an American, is this. Will Trump explain his love for the North Korean dictator, who he went all the way to Singapore to meet and called him a fantastic guy, a person who poses an existential threat? I know the Chinese guests will not like it, to the world, who believes nuclear arms are toys. The biggest act of legitimization of the North Korean dictator was by Donald Trump. Am I right or wrong? Donald Trump legitimized him, said, he's my friend, I love him, he's a great guy, he's very popular among his people. He called the terrorist from Syria who met him when he went on his Mideast trip, just because he wore a suit, he called him a great guy and a handsome man. He called a terrorist a handsome man. In Pakistan, he's doing business with the same people who gave geographical shelter and a home to Osama bin Laden. The same Osama bin Laden who killed thousands of Americans was sheltered by the same people and the same organization, which is now invited to come into the White House for lunch. The person called Asif Munir, right, says in Florida, if anyone touches me, I will take down the whole world with Pakistan's nuclear weapons. And Trump's family allegedly has a cryptocurrency profitable deal with the Pakistanis. I'm not talking about the army being out in Washington, D.C.
They go around and they
pound these are all historical facts.
They're all posture. It's a chess game. To me, again,
game.
America is not afraid now that Trump did not get the Nobel Prize. We do not think that he's going to go on a rampage now to get revenge. This was just something that he desired. But
why does he desire it so much?
But,
life is
but
not about personal desire. When he swore to serve the United States of America. 1 minute. If you say, it's all right, he has a lot of desire in him. But when he was sworn in as the president, was he sworn in to protect the country, to serve the country, or to feed his endless desire for recognition?
Well, he doesn't have to swear that. He already does that. He doesn't need to have
So then you place yourself before country, Richie.
No. I mean, this
David,
is again, in a way, you're taking him a little bit too seriously. It's very strange how you're reacting to his personality. I don't get offended by it. I don't get outraged by it. I don't go on air and
no, he's
trash
making
him
your country vulnerable because people across the world, leaders across the world have realized, they are smart people, they have realized they can get their way by pandering to him, not by...
But then you could say the same thing of any leader that goes to another country, to China, to India, to other countries that are all asking for assistance or pandering, as you say, as well. So the idea of trying to align with world superpowers, with powers to get what they need for their own country, is that pandering? Maybe not, according to your definition.
Okay,
maybe it is pandering.
David K.
But that's how it's done.
We have never had a president of the United States who operates as Donald does. Nobody.
That's
and
right.
so Donald is constantly seeking, because he's an emotionally empty vessel inside, the approval of exterior sizes. So, he claims, and some of the guests here have said he had this overwhelming mandate from the voters. No, he didn't. He won by one of the narrowest margins in the history of American presidential elections. Donald is focused on this need to fill the emptiness inside. That's why, he claims to be the world's greatest lover. He claimed to be worth more than $11 billion, except when he had to, under oath, give his wealth, 90% of it disappeared. He makes all sorts of claims that have nothing to do with the duty of the office of the President of the United States, the very subject I taught my law students yesterday. What are the powers, duties, and limitations? Instead, Trump asserts that he has plenary, that is, unlimited power. I have an article, too, that says I can do anything I want, he said during his first term. And Stephen Miller a few days ago said the president has plenary power, meaning complete 100% authority, which he does not. And what people aren't recognizing on this panel is that Donald Trump isn't doing things to promote peace. He is doing things to promote Donald. He didn't solve and stop 8 wars, especially the one between Albania and Azerbaijan. And I hope people get the joke in that Donald makes that claim, because those 2 countries have never been at war and they're not even close to each other. It's the equivalent of saying that he stopped the war between Chile and Australia.
It doesn't have to
and
be
Donald just makes stuff up. He has always done this for as long as I've known him. He just makes stuff up. And at the same time, he's murdered 23 people in the Caribbean. There are military lawyers who will tell you what Trump did on those 3 boats was murder. It's not sanctioned by any law, American or international. So the idea
of clearly are TD as Trump derangement syndrome has seeped into you. And that's pretty obvious.
No, you're the guy with Trump derangement syndrome, because you're not seeing who he is.
I'm not deranged.
You're seeing the image he has, not Donald. And let me point out that Donald in 37 years has never gotten one correction from me. In 37 years, and he said he hates me more than any other journalist. In 37 years, hiring very expensive lawyers to come after me, he's never shown a single error in anything I have said or written about him. Despite his claims.
Now, can I just quickly put out to the panel here?
No, I just want to, I would like you to come in, but I just want to tell you in the interim, this has become a global issue, Richie. David Sofer, all across the world, You have the president of Belarus saying, no, he should have been given the prize. It's almost as if it is expected of every nation to issue a one-line statement, he should have been given the prize. Is this a global issue whether Trump should have been given the prize?
In Norway, right? You see the people who are actually on the panel. These people are liberals and never Trumpers. So we knew going into this thing, right? And this is so important that Trump brings it up because it is not fair and there's nothing democratic about the panel there, okay? So there is nothing democratic about the people on the panel at all. So it's a one-way panel that is anti-conservative and anti-Republican, not just for Americans, but for everybody else as well. Now, what you said about how it was a close election, Trump won every single swing state as well, so we should put that up there, and he won by millions of votes. So it was actually
no, he won by 2.5 million votes.
Yeah, right. So that's millions of votes, right? So one
much
is more
smaller margin than Obama won by, a much smaller margin than Joe Biden won
absolutely, but we're not talking about Obama. We're talking about the. I'm just correcting your statement.
He won, but by a narrow margin, 1.5 percentage points. Go look at the election results back to George Washington. It's one of the smallest margins of victory.
And he won by millions of votes.
No. The thing is, this is.
And now going back to the panel, let's see the panel in Norway when he dissected, and you see who's behind it. I mean, we all knew that that's not going to be pro-Trump. Now, the Maria lady out of Venezuela she said some good things, but she has not actually. None of those things have been implemented yet. So she talks a good fight. I wish her the best of luck in Venezuela. So. Really, I mean, we have to come together as Americans to really, promote peace throughout the world.
One minute. David, listen. David, everyone on. Just a point to be made by you. With a lot of respect to you, you are a country which is $37 trillion in debt.
Absolutely.
You have big problems. You have a lot of crime. You are at trade wars with more than half the world. You may believe you are popular, but trust me, even countries which have signed the trade agreement with you have done so unwillingly. And stronger nations like India or Russia, big countries, and India and China particularly are standing up to you on that issue. Now, I'm sure you would agree with me that there are bigger problems for America than whether your president is going to get the Nobel Prize. You are diminishing your country's problems by focusing on Trump. Ask any American who sleeps tonight. What is important, whether Donald Trump gets the Nobel or whether they can pay the mortgage on their house or whether they can afford the cost of living problems that have sprung up, or whether there is social disorder.
We're going to forget about this.
Donald Trump says today there is garbage all over Washington, D.C. and Manhattan. That's your problem. Was that the condition in America 5 years back, 10 years back? You have problems. The problem in America is not whether Donald Trump got a Nobel Prize. It's a distraction.
But that has nothing to do with the Nobel Prize, and we're going to all forget about this in the next few days. It'll be out of the news cycle.
I hope so,
it will
Richie.
Be. But Arnab, may I just ask, okay, if you can fact check me, Mahatma Gandhi, was he nominated 5 times and never got the Nobel Prize between 1937 and 1948?
Do you know, okay, now this is an American view of the world that you're presenting. What I would like to say to you is, first of all, in our wildest dreams, never, ever, Richie, utter 2 names together, Mahatma Gandhi and Donald Trump. Don't do that together. It is an insult to Mahatma Gandhi. It is an insult to Mahatma Gandhi and all that he stood for. If you even utter his name together with a self-seeking person like Donald Trump. But having said that, Mahatma Gandhi is Mahatma Gandhi regardless of whether he was nominated or got the Nobel Peace Prize. This is immaterial. This is some hangover that you got. It's a colonial hangover you got.
I don't think it's immaterial. I think it's immaterial. There are great leaders who get snubbed. I don't think that it's immaterial. I think it is.
Now listen. I mean, okay. Now I'd like Victor Gao to come in on this. This is becoming a global issue, Victor. It is the number one global issue. All countries are reacting whether Trump should or should not have got the Nobel Peace Prize. How do we deal with this situation now? It's become completely focused on him.
I actually agree with many points you just now made. I think for President Trump, the real big thing for him to do is to really devote himself to making peace rather than dreaming about getting the Nobel Peace Prize. And he should work for peace, regardless of whether he gets the Nobel Peace Prize. Getting Nobel Peace Prize should not be his goal. His real goal should be working for peace. And if he really works for peace, I think the Nobel Peace Prize most likely will come his way. So he should not put the cart in front of the horse. He should really keep the horse ahead of the cart, and that's the right logic. Don't twist the logic. Don't dream about getting the Nobel Peace Prize and using that as the only aspiration for your work for peace. Now, peace does not mean without war. Peace means defending free trade and avoiding weaponizing the dollar, weaponizing the SWIFT system, weaponizing tariff, for example, and refusing to tell the real truth to the American people. Who pays all the tariffs, for example? So I think working for peace is much more complicated than what President Trump has claimed, that he stopped 7 or 8 wars. No one really believes what he said, but I think I'm sympathetic with President Trump for one thing. He keeps talking about peace, and he keeps believing that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. But the final decision is not for President Trump to make. The final decision is for the Nobel Peace Prize Committee to make.
Finally,
and
what will happen to Norway?
Already made.
What will happen to Norway? There's a feeling he's going to bludgeon one. It's been reported.
To defend his own dignity.
Huh? Do you think Trump is going to go after Norway?
No, of course not. And as I said, in the couple of days following from now, it's going to be out of the news cycle.
And will he manage to take over Iceland in the process?
No.
A person who wants to colonize Iceland, how can he even be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? I just want to think logically tonight.
Iceland or Greenland?
Sorry, Greenland. Greenland.
Yeah,
Greenland.
there's a big
Greenland.
difference.
Yeah,
big
Greenland.
difference. And
no. So why did he wants to colonize Greenland? Does that make him a contender for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Nobel Prize.
No, but I'm saying, are you not serious? Have you not heard his comment on wanting to take over Greenland for a prize?
No, he's no.
Is that a peaceful comment?
Yeah, it's not peaceful, but you know what? If the people of Greenland want their own freedom, they don't want to be under another country's rule, then that's their democracy, and they can work on that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as of now, status quo persists. We'll see how things work out. But the strange thing is you've had a spiral of comments from different countries and presidents, and I believe they are pandering to Trump. I think they should deal with the United States of America and not with the personality of the American president who seeks a prize for himself. That's my view. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, on this debate and on the program, and you should all have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Good night and goodbye.
For a quick breather.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध, MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।